For more on the debt ceiling, what's happening tonight, Saruhan Hatipoglu, CEO of BERI Consulting, joins me back on the set. Good to see you.
Hi, Phil.
As we stand right now, media outlets are reporting, I mean CNN in particular, it says that the Democrats potentially might vote on a budget deal in the Senate tonight. Explain to us, even if they get this deal done, has there been damage already done to the United States standing internationally?
Yes, the damage has been done, Phil. I think the damage
It's too
was
late.
done. It is still not too late if they can save their face at the last second, which I'm forecasting will happen by tomorrow. They're going to come to an agreement and say, okay, we're going to avert this, and then they're going to come back and say, hey, we did it again, we saved the country. But they're the ones who brought it to the brink of disaster once again. The damage has been done even last year. With the S&P downgrade 2 years ago, it has started. When the allies are looking at the U.S. in terms of investment now, it's not the safe haven it used to be. And I think by some probability, if that default takes place tomorrow, we're going to have very bad economic repercussions of that in the stock market, as well as the economic data that will be coming out.
The two competing plans, the House had a plan that would extend essentially the discussion or the negotiations for another 6 to 8 weeks. The Senate wanted to extend it all the way until the first quarter of next year. So one plan was maybe perhaps a little longer than the other. And here's my question to you. Does it matter to the international community whether it's a shorter term or a longer term deal at this point?
No, it doesn't. I think if they get even 2 weeks out of this, that's a great deal. But look what the House did. They're proposing to take the extraordinary measures out of the Treasury's hand. That's a suicide. The Senate is not going to accept that. So they're trying to put in those measures in there, which the Senate is going to reject. They know this, and this is going to go until probably later tonight, and early tomorrow morning, and then they'll come to an agreement.
You mentioned the S&P downgrade earlier. Fitch announced just hours ago that was putting the United States' entire debt market on just negative watch, which isn't a downgrade, for the record. It is a warning, however. How important is that?
Well, you know what? I'm from a rating agency, so I can comment freely on this. 2 years ago, when S&P did that, what happened? The interest rates still remained the same.
And
right?
the Dow dropped 700 points.
But then it came back quickly, right? The problem here is that the creditors know that there's nobody else that they can lend at a comfortable rate. Is Eurozone the alternative to the U.S.? No. Emerging markets, they have all their problems. Japan is going to be struggling in 6 months or so. So the creditors will still lend money to the U.S.
Do you think the international community, I mean, you talk to people around the world, whether it's in Europe or in Asia, do you think, and I'm wording this very carefully, do you think they're angry at the U.S. or annoyed about the process, or how do they feel?
Well, it's a bit of, there's some anger there, but there's also some joking about it, too.
They're making fun of the United States.
They're making fun of the United States. They can't believe that the government has been shut down for 15 days. That doesn't happen in Europe that much, ever. So they're actually having a chuckle at it. But they're also angry because there are a lot of investments, right? In China, for example, $1.28 trillion of bonds. In Japan, $1.15 trillion. These are not small amounts, and they're going to be affected by that pretty badly.
Let's think positively. Let's say the Senate comes to a deal tonight. It goes to the House tomorrow. They sign it. The president says, okay, we extend this whole debt discussion for another 3 months, all the way until January, February of 2014. Then what?
Well, then the stock market is going to boost, like we're going to see. We're used to seeing, right? It's going to increase. Dow Jones, everything else, global markets as well. And then 2.5 months from now, we're going to have the same problem, because they're not solving the problem. They're just delaying the inevitable. At some point, they need to sit down and compromise, and that's a word we're not used to in Washington, D.C. nowadays.
Compromise. Just thinking twice about it. Saruhan Hatipoglu, CEO of BERI, thank you very much for joining us and your insights.